Good morning, Facebook. It's such a lovely day today. Actually, the nice thing about it not being a sunny day is that you can actually see me a little bit better in the car. There's not all sorts of glare bouncing around. So, again, I'm on my way to another closing this morning, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to bring you up to date. This is a fantastic year for selling. Sale to assess is coming out for almost every municipality in Kenosha and Racine as either at or above the assessed value of a house. Now that means we're talking about the average house. So I thought this morning what I would talk about is what is the average house, because unfortunately okay, so there's some wonderful programs on TLC and HGTV and all these different programs that are just fantastic programs, actually. They're about home building and decorating your home, and everybody loves them, and they're so popular, and they're really great, and, how to do this, what is it, how to do this on a budget, and this for a dime, and that for... Well, here's the thing. Keep in mind that, first of all, TV is not reality. And sometimes it's really funny. I sometimes watch television shows and they'll say something like, yeah, you can have this entire outfit for only $200. And I look at them and I go, I've never spent $200 on anything outside of, $200 or more on anything outside of, say, a prom dress or a wedding dress. So those people are not living in the reality that most of us live with. If I get an entire really upscale outfit for $100, well, that's the reality of my life, and that's actually a bargain. 200 means I'm splurging on something. So anyway, what is average when it comes to a house, though? What's a house average? Because that's a little bit different. It's because it depends on what house level you're at. So for example, I can see somebody's clicked like, but I can't see who anybody is this morning. So whoever you are, hello and thank you. Average for a house depends on the house. It depends on where it is. It depends on how much land comes with it. Because I can remember a few years ago, there was a family that I went to do a listing presentation for them. They wanted to list their house at $600,000, and their reason for listing the house at $600,000 was because it was huge and it had 7 acres of land. However, they had a beautiful stainless steel French door fridge, and I was like, okay, maybe we could do this, but you've got a lot of wallpaper and this and that. And after looking at their house and looking at the whole of their house, they had old carpeting, and then they informed me that that fridge was not going to stay with the sale. They were going to take that with them, and that there would be no fridge. And I went, all right, so the average person who's going to buy it $600,000 is expecting to see at least a fridge in their house when they buy it. So I actually, unfortunately, told them, I said, well, in the market the way it is right now, and this was about 3 years ago, I said, this house is probably only worth about $525, and they were appalled and shocked and not happy and didn't list with me, which is no big surprise. So they listed with somebody else. They had their house on the market for over a year, and right at the end of the year, they got an accepted offer. And I went, oh, well, okay. I mean, and they listed it at $550 with this other agent, and they got an accepted offer. When that house actually closed, it closed at $522. So my numbers were not off, which was kind of gratifying, but I felt bad for them because I felt like they didn't have the opportunity to listen. They were out of touch with what reality was, what was the average home for that type of home. So here are some average homes that everybody should be aware of. So number one, if your house is under $100,000, you should not expect granite countertops. You should not expect even solid surface countertops. You should have good laminate countertops if it's right around 100. If, however, that house is $75,000 or below, those countertops may not be in very good shape. You should not expect tile floors. You should expect linoleum floors. You should expect that you're going to have at least probably one room that's a little bit smaller. And this is for houses that are under $100,000. Now, once you get over $100,000, good morning, Russ. Nice to see at least you're watching. For houses that are over $100,000, you can start to have some better expectations. So your laminate countertops should be in really good shape. Your linoleum floors should be in really good shape. You might even have tile in the bathroom. and a house that's between 100 to 150. Now you get over 150, you should have tile other places or some hardwood. Now the hardwood may not be in excellent shape, but it should be a decent type of hardwood floor. Just, maybe like actual solid, maybe the old hardwood, like from the 1960s, but it hasn't been refinished for a while. So you should have that available, even if it's under carpeting and things like that. But over 150, that's where you want to see really nice carpeting. You'll probably see some solid surface countertops. At that point, you should be seeing mostly either stainless steel or higher end appliances. So the appliances may not be stainless steel, but between 150 and 200, they should be a really good quality or a really good brand or maybe a large size or something along that line. So the appliances should be upgraded a little bit at 150 to 200. You certainly shouldn't expect a dorm fridge at that price. And I should mention at 75 and under, you may not always have appliances either. So for 150 to 200. Now once you get up over 200, you're going to find some houses are going to have granite countertops, and here's where it starts to spread out a little bit, because it's going to depend on the amount of land that you have as well, because the amount of land that you have is going to make a huge difference in whether you're going to have granite or not. Because if you don't have granite, then you should have a half acre of land, or you should have a beautiful subdivision, or you may have some other aspects over 200 that are making it absolutely worth that price. Good morning, Margaret. And so those are definitely things that need to be considered at over 200. This is what we're talking about when we talk about an average home. Like, we're talking about the sale to assessed all week this week. And an average home really should have some of these features at those price points. What you cannot expect is and I apologize, I'm not looking at the camera very much because I'm going through construction, but what you should expect at those prices, you should expect certain levels of things, but what you cannot necessarily expect is that everything's going to be granite. Unfortunately, there are a couple of buyers that I've worked with. At $100,000, you cannot expect that you're going to get a really good house and a 2-car garage. That's a wrong expectation. You should have a garage at $100,000, or a really great house. One of the two things. Good morning, Michelle. Nice to see you. Feel free to chime in with any questions you have. So at $100,000, you should be looking at, and this, of course, I'm talking about the market here in Racine and Kenosha, Southeastern Wisconsin area. Now, also, if you're in a more upscale area like Lake Geneva, you're going to exponentially pay more for a house in that area. So do keep that in mind, that it does matter the area that this house is placed in. So for example, in Mount Pleasant, you're going to pay a little bit more for the same house that you would find in Racine, because one of the great things about Mount Pleasant is their very low taxes. So those are definitely aspects to keep in mind. So the area and the location, it's still true today. Location, location, location. And it's really difficult when somebody has bought a house in the past with somebody else and location was not discussed, or they bought a house a long time ago in their family and the location was a decent location in town when their family bought it originally, and it's no longer necessarily a great location. Sometimes roads change and that makes it not as good of a location anymore. So for example, so Meacham Road in Ohio, those have both turned into boulevards in the city of Racine and through Mount Pleasant, etc., in that area. But originally when people bought on that road, it was just a road. It wasn't a main thoroughfare to go for all the way from Racine down to the border to Kenosha. Now they're kind of a main road and they're that huge boulevard. So people lost a little bit of property there and it became a busy road, and busy roads are just not very popular with families because of the safety aspect for their kids. So you have to take that into consideration. Recently we did a comparable for a particular house, and we compared it because we realized it was on a very busy road. We could only compare it to other houses that were on a busy road that were similar to that. If we didn't, then we weren't being honest with that person. So it does make a difference. Location, location, location. But one of the things I wanted to address this morning was the whole aspect of how TV has shaped our expectations. It's amazing how many people we'll meet who have watched a lot of HGTV and a lot of those sort of things, and they'll definitely be thinking, well, I should be getting granite countertops and tile floors and hardwood floors, and I'm going to pay $100,000. That's not going to happen in this area. It's not going to happen in most areas, to be honest, because granite itself is very expensive. Having said that, there's also people who have houses that are $300,000 to $400,000 and they don't have any granite, they don't have any stainless steel, they don't have any hardwood floors, they don't have a 3-car garage or a great location or a fantastic school district. They don't have any of those things, and they're expecting this higher price. And again, that's raised, the perception has been shifted, partly due to the fact of television. So when you are going to price your house, look at it critically. It does not hurt you to look at it. You need to look at it through a buyer's eyes. Would you want to buy your house at that price? Now, you got to take away the memories, and that's part of the problem, is that people have emotional attachments to their houses, and it's not a problem, but it can become difficult because you're emotionally attached to your house and you want to hold on to it and you want to get the most for it, and we'll get you the most for it that we can, but not so much. It may not be what you want for it. It may be what buyers want for it, and that's really how you sell a house. Good morning, Sue. I didn't see you until just now. So anyway, that's my morning minute, so to speak, for today. Just about at my closings. I'm going to sign off here, and we'll see if we can get these things posted. I didn't get a chance to do the YouTube posting the other day, and my day is filling up today pretty quickly, so we may not get to that either, but we'll speak to you soon. Bye!